Lillehaug is here with us, and he would like to make a statement, I believe, to the board.
Thank you very much. As one of the attorneys for Al Franken for Senate and on the campaign's behalf, I appear today to request that the Hennepin County Canvassing Board take immediate action to make sure that all properly cast absentee ballots are counted. We have information that a significant number of persons who voted by absentee ballot, particularly in Minneapolis, had ballots rejected and not counted. We understand that as of today, there are 461 people who submitted absentee ballots whose ballots were rejected, and they did not thereafter submit a substitute absentee ballot. In some cases, because the rejection arrived too late before Election Day for them to vote again. We have information that some of these ballots were properly cast and that the rejections were erroneous. We understand, for example, that some ballots were rejected for signature mismatch when in fact the signatures were valid and genuine. We further understand that some ballots were rejected for lack of voter registration when in fact the voters were registered and some of them had voted previously. Now, this of course is not a problem when you cast your ballot at the polls. If you show up and for some reason your name's been dropped off the list, you can register at the polls. But people who cast absentee ballots may not have that luxury. These kinds of obvious errors should be corrected. This board has the right and the obligation under Minnesota statutes to review the ballot return envelopes and determine if the rejection of the absentee vote was appropriate or not. As part of this review, we request that the board determine the stated basis for the rejection, if any, and whether there was proper legal support for the rejection. If there was no stated basis, or there's not proper support for the rejection, the absentee ballot should be counted. The current narrow margin in this election, a few minutes ago it was 206 votes out of 2.9 million cast, is unprecedented. It would be most unfortunate if properly cast absentee ballots were not counted and some voters were disenfranchised. As Al Franken said on Wednesday, November 5, every ballot properly cast should be counted. Thank you.
The numbers that we're supposed to report are the numbers that are in the county canvass report and those that are coming in the state abstract. We don't know if there were any errors. There's no evidence before the county canvass here that there are any errors. And so I think that this board has limited authority. There's, to the extent that a candidate wants to raise, a state candidate like Mr. Franken wants to raise these issues, the state canvassing board meets in a week and they have the ability to raise those issues there. And finally, if there's a recount, these ballots are not counted in any recount. A recount is just a recounting of the ballots that have been counted, those that are here today. However, if there is a contest after that there's an ability to have a number of different things be looked at. So it's my opinion that there's that this board should reject Mr. Lillehaug's request to have the county canvassing board try to collect and review all of the rejected absentee ballots in all 427 county precincts in Hennepin County.
Chair, based on the knowledge that the action we're taking does not make a judgment one way or the other on this information that was brought forward, I would continue with the motion that's on the floor and support it.
I think we're ready to vote on the motion. We have it introduced and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries.